Come on students, now we'll start the next problem, that is 16th. See the 16th problem. On 1st Jan 1999, X Company Limited acquired Y Company Limited. So X Company Limited is the transferee company and Y Limited is the transferor company. Vendor company Y Limited finished. That business is taken over by X Limited. The tangible assets are taken at book values and the consideration is assumption of liabilities. That means all the liabilities are taken over. Discharge of debentures at a premium of 2.5% by the issue of 6% debenture in X Limited. So what X Limited is doing, it is taking over the debentures of Y Limited. To that they are adding 2.5%, 2.5% premium they are adding, and new debentures will be issued by X Limited. Then, and 4 ordinary shares in X Limited and ₹5 cash for each share in Y Limited. For every 1 share in Y Limited, 4 ordinary shares will be issued by X Limited. And also for every 1 share in Y Limited, cash of ₹5 will be paid. Following are the balance sheets of both the companies. So companies' balance sheets are given: X company, Y company. Authorized capital 1 lakh ordinary shares of ₹20 each, Y company. And X company 2 lakh 6% preference shares of ₹20 each, X company 40 lakh. And 7 lakh ordinary shares of ₹20 each, 1 crore 40 lakh in X company. So there is no preference capital in Y Limited. In preference capital only ordinary shares. Whereas in X company they are having preference as well as ordinary shares. Now authorized capital is just an information. Now issued and subscribed capital. Ordinary shares, both the companies 40 lakh in X Limited and Y Limited it is 20 lakh. तो जितने ऑथराइज्ड थे पूरे ऑथराइज्ड इश्यू कर दिया X Limited. X Limited के पास प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स आर 2 लाख, ईच शेयर 20 रुपीज, तो 2 लाख इंटू 20 40 लाख, तो पूरे 40 लाख रुपीज प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स. दैट मीन्स ऑल द प्रेफरेंस शेयर ऑथराइज्ड एंड इश्यूड आर सेम. लेकिन ऑर्डिनरी शेयर्स में 1 crore 40 lakh. 1 crore 40 lakh is the ordinary share capital in X Limited, 7 lakh shares. But in issued capital it is given only 40 lakh. That means only 2 lakh shares are issued at present. In X company 2 lakh ordinary shares are issued. So 2 lakh into 20, 40 lakh rupees is the ordinary share capital. Then 6% debentures, 10 lakh. It is there only in Y Limited. In X Limited they don't have debentures. Reserves are there in Y Limited. X Limited no reserve. Sundry creditors are given for both. P&L account given both. Goodwill at cost. Sundry assets less depreciation. Sundry debtors, investments, bank. Pass the entries in the books of X Company Limited and set out its balance sheet. So in this problem we have to pass the journal entries in the books of X Limited. X Limited is the transferee company, purchasing company. So only few entries will come in purchasing company, and also we have to make a balance sheet of X company after taking over Y company. Y company को take over करने के बाद post merger we have to find out the balance sheet of X company. First of all we will find out the PC. The calculation of PC: equity shares in X Limited. For every 1 share in Y Limited, 4 shares in X Limited. तो Y Limited के 1 शेयर के ऊपर X कंपनी अपने 4 शेयर्स इश्यू कर रहा. तो presently how many shares are there in Y company? In Y company it is given in the problem 1 lakh shares. In Y company 1 lakh shares are there. So for 1 lakh shares how many shares they will get from X company? So 1 lakh divided by 1 into 4 you will get 4 lakh. That means X company will issue, not Y company, X company will issue. Therefore X Limited issues 4 lakh shares at ₹20 each. So 4 lakh into 20, 80 lakh rupees worth of shares are issued by X company to Y company. Then cash. For every 1 share in Y Limited, cash 5 rupees. Y Limited के 1 शेयर के ऊपर X Limited 5 रुपये कैश दे रहा. तो for 1 lakh shares how much? तो 1 lakh into 5, 5 lakh. 5 lakh rupees cash. So 80 lakh rupees worth of shares and 5 lakh rupees cash. Total PC 85 lakh rupees. That's it. Now we'll pass the journal entries in the books of X Limited, transferee company. The first entry as usual, Business purchase account data to liquidator of Y Limited. Vendor company Y Limited, 85 lakh. Being the business purchased and PC due. Second entry will be for assets and liabilities taken over. तो complete business it is taking over. तो देखिए sundry assets पहले goodwill account data balancing figure, after completing all the amounts we'll take the balancing figure goodwill. Till that time only balancing figure leave it blank. Sundry assets account data, sundry debtors, investments, bank account. These are the assets taken over from Y. To 6% debenture 10 lakh, sundry creditors 4 lakh. Only two outside liabilities are there in Y Limited. To business purchase 85 lakh. Now if you find the balance, you are getting balance on debit column. Credit side is more. Credit side is more. So from this total of credit side, deduct all these four amounts, you will get the balancing figure 6,40,000, that is the goodwill. Being the assets and liabilities taken over. Now next entry will be PC paid, purchase consideration paid. So liquidator of Y Limited account debtor 85 lakh. To equity share capital 80 lakh. And to bank 5 lakh. 80 lakh shares, 5 lakh rupees bank. Being the PC paid to the liquidator of Y Limited. Then 6% debentures. Actually 6% debentures were there in Y Limited. Vendor company, जो ट्रांसफरर कंपनी है उसकी बैलेंस शीट में 6% डिबेंचर 10 लाख रुपीस यहाँ पर टेक ओवर कर लिए। अब वो डिबेंचर्स को कैंसिल करके नए डिबेंचर्स इश्यू करेगा एक्स लिमिटेड, लेकिन उसके ऊपर 2.5% प्रीमियम। तो 10 लाख रुपीस का 2.5% 25,000, तो 25,000 एक्स्ट्रा हो जाएंगे। 10,25,000 के नए डिबेंचर्स इश्यू करेगा एक्स लिमिटेड। तो एंट्री 6% डिबेंचर इन वाई लिमिटेड अकाउंट डेटा, गुडविल अकाउंट डेटा 25,000। जो एक्स्ट्रा 25,000 रुपीस के पे कर रहा हो, that will be debited to goodwill account. To 6% debenture in X Limited 10,25,000. Being the old debentures of Y Limited cancelled and new debentures of X Limited are issued. These are the entries. Now it is asking you to make the balance sheet in the books of X Limited after taking over Y Limited. So here balance sheet of X Limited. Equity share and liabilities, shareholders fund, share capital, reserves and surplus. Number 1, number 2. Don't see the amount. First we'll make a blank balance sheet format, then we'll take one by one item. So share capital 1, reserves and surplus 2. Non-current liability, long-term borrowings. Long-term borrowings will take the debentures. Current liability, trade payable, creditors. Then total of liability side, assets, non-current assets, fixed asset, tangible asset, intangible. Then non-current investment, current assets, inventories, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent. Total. This is the blank balance sheet. Now we'll take one by one. First item, number 1, share capital. So we are concerned only with the share capital of X Limited, not Y Limited. क्योंकि balance sheet X Limited की है. तो यहाँ पर देखिए. Working note number 1, share capital. Authorized. Authorized is just an information. जैसा problem में दिया है, same to same we have copied, no change. Authorized capital 2 lakh, preference shares of 20 each 40 lakh, and 7 lakh ordinary shares of rupees 20 each 1 crore 40 lakh. Draw 2 lines below that. It's only information. Now issued subscribed capital. So 2 lakh preference shares of 20 each 40 lakh. Same. Authorized capital 40 lakh hai, issued capital bhi 40 lakh hai. Preference share capital. That has not changed. Change nahi ho. Now ordinary shares. Ordinary shares पहले 2 lakh ordinary shares थे. Before merger, X Limited, in the books of X Limited, only 2 lakh ordinary shares of rupees 20 each, 40 lakh. That was given in the problem. 2 lakh ordinary shares of rupees 20 each, 40 lakh was the ordinary share capital issued before merger. अब merging के time पे how many shares are issued to the liquidator? 4 lakh shares. और 4 lakh shares issue करे तो 2 lakh plus 4 lakh, 6 lakh shares. 6 lakh ordinary shares of rupees 20 each, 1 crore 20 lakh. So 40 lakh plus 1 crore 20 lakh, 1 crore 60 lakh. So 1 crore 60 lakh will be taken in the balance sheet. Here explanation will be given of the above 4 lakh ordinary shares are issued for consideration other than cash. Okay, note number 1 completed. Now note number 2, reserves and surplus. In case of reserves and surplus, we take the reserves of only X limited. Y limited के reserves नहीं आते, right? Because it's a merger, amalgamation in the nature of purchase, not merger. The reserves, in reserves, P&L account. In X limited, they don't have general reserve, they have only P&L account balance. That P&L account, profit and loss account balance 30 lakh. Now long term, third, long term borrowings. नॉन करंट लायबिलिटी, ये कुछ प्रॉब्लम में रहता, कुछ प्रॉब्लम में नहीं रहता. अगर डिबेंचर्स है तो लॉन्ग नॉन करंट लायबिलिटी लेंगे. अगर डिबेंचर्स नहीं दिया प्रॉब्लम में तो डायरेक्टली आफ्टर दिस विल स्टार्ट करंट लायबिलिटी. हियर डिबेंचर्स आर देयर, दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव टेकन लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग्स. तो लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग्स में डिबेंचर 10,25,000, तो यहां पर ऑलरेडी एंट्री पास कर लिया. 10,25,000 के डिबेंचर्स है तो 10,25,000. नाउ करंट लायबिलिटी में ट्रेड पेबल, सन्ड्री क्रेडिटर्स, ट्रेड पेबल, सन्ड्री क्रेडिटर्स 12 लाख प्लस 4 लाख 16 लाख. दोनों कंपनी के क्रेडिटर्स को ऐड कर दो. द टोटल ऑफ द लायबिलिटी 2,16,25,000. तो लायबिलिटी साइड कंप्लीटेड. नाउ वी कम टू द एसेट साइड. एसेट साइड नॉन करंट एसेट्स, फिक्स्ड एसेट्स, टैंजिबल. ये टैंजिबल फिक्स्ड एसेट्स में यहां पर है सन्ड्री एसेट्स 40 लाख प्लस 71,80,000, 1,11,80,000. बोथ द कंपनीज, दोनों कंपनी के सन्ड्री एसेट्स को सिंपली एडअप कर लो. 1,11,80,000. इंटैंजिबल एसेट में गुडविल वाज देयर इन एक्स लिमिटेड अर्लियर. एक्वायर करने से पहले गुडविल ये लोग के पास है 20 लाख रुपीस का गुडविल पहले से एक्स लिमिटेड के पास है. नाउ हाउ मच गुडविल इज डेबिटेड बाय टेकिंग ओवर वाई लिमिटेड. वाई लिमिटेड को जब टेक ओवर कर रहे हैं तो गुडविल कितना डेबिट करे यहां पर मिलता. गुडविल वाज डेबिटेड 6,40,000. हियर गुडविल वाज डेबिटेड बाय 25,000. तो एक 6,40,000 और ये 25,000 दोनों को ऐड कर लेंगे. 25,000, 6,40,000. तो टोटल गुडविल कम टू 26,65,000. दैट इज द इंटैंजिबल एसेट. नाउ नॉन करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट. Actually, investments are given. The investments are given only in Y Limited and that is taken over by X Limited. X Limited के पास अपने own investment नहीं है. तो that investment we have taken 12 lakh. Then current assets. Current assets में inventories, stock. Stock is not given in both the companies. Leave it blank. Then trade receivable. Trade receivable means debtors. Here trade receivable debtors. Add up both the companies' debtors 9,20,000. Cash and cash equivalent. अब cash and cash equivalent में we add up the bank balance of both the companies. दोनों कंपनी के बैंक बैलेंस, X कंपनी में 58 लाख है, Y कंपनी से जो आया 3,60,000. तो टोटल हो गया 58 लाख प्लस 3,60,000. आउट ऑफ दिस अमाउंट इन PC सम अमाउंट इज पेड. परचेस कंसिडरेशन के लिए X लिमिटेड हैज पेड 5 लाख रुपीस. हियर इट इज देयर इन कैलकुलेशन ऑफ PC. कैश 5 लाख रुपीस इज पेड. तो subtract 5 lakh rupees from bank balance. तो 58 lakh plus 3,60,000 minus 5 lakh. 56,60,000 is the bank balance remaining. Right? 56,60,000. Take the total of assets 22,16,25,000. This is the total of the balance sheet. That's it. So this is the end of problem number 16. Hello students, so we have already completed 16 problems on amalgamation of companies. So if you are watching all the videos, hope you are very confident in solving the problem on amalgamation of companies. So last few problems are left. Now we are going to start problem number 17. So 17th problem, you see carefully. The following is the balance sheet of Minor Limited as on 31st December 1999. Paid up capital in shares of rupees 10 each, 20,000. Accumulated profit 7,000. Trade creditors 13,000. So only one outside liability, that is trade creditor. Goodwill, fixed assets, current assets. The Major Limited agreed to take over the assets exclusive of goodwill. So Major Limited is the purchasing company, transferee company, and it wants to purchase this Minor Limited. And exclusive of goodwill. Goodwill it is not taking. A fixed asset for rupees 4,000. One fixed asset which is included in the total fixed assets That 4,000 rupees worth of fixed assets, Major Limited not taking over. And cash rupees 1,000 included in the current assets. In the current assets, cash 1,000, that is also not taken. So simply, goodwill not taken over, a fixed asset of 4,000 rupees not taken over, and 1,000 rupees cash included in current assets not taken. Remaining assets are taken over. At 10% less than the book value. 10% less than the book value. That means we have to calculate what are the assets remaining, and from that 10% we have to deduct. And to discharge the trade liabilities, trade creditors, trade liability is only one, trade creditors, that is taken over. And to pay rupees 6,000 for goodwill. For goodwill, an amount of 6,000 rupees will be paid by Major Limited. And the purchase consideration was to be settled by the allotment of 1,000 shares of rupees 10 each, 8 rupees called up at a market price of 15 each, and the balance in cash. Whenever it is given balance in cash, that means we have to apply net assets method to calculate purchase consideration, because one of the item is missing, cash is missing. So under net assets method, we take the agreed value of all assets minus agreed value of all liabilities. Then we'll get the net worth. And that net worth of the business will be the PC. So 1,000 shares of rupees 10 each, rupees 8 called up at a market price of 15. 15 rupees market price we have to calculate. Then liquidation expenses 400. This will be paid by the minor limited itself. Past journal entries in the company's books. So comparatively, this problem is very easy and only simple. We have to pass the journal entries only in the books of the transferor company, not in the books of the transferee company. The transferor company is minor limited. So before passing the entries in minor limited, first of all we calculate the purchase consideration, PC. Now see here, calculation of PC, assets goodwill 6,000. That means it is given in the problem that Major Limited is going to pay 6,000 rupees for goodwill of minor limited. Fixed assets. The total fixed assets as per the balance sheet of minor limited is 16,500. In this total fixed asset of 16,500, one fixed asset is not taken. 4,000 rupees worth of fixed asset not taken over by Major Limited. So minus 4,000. So 16,500 minus 4,000, remaining amount is 12,500. This is the book value. And in the problem it is given that it is taken over at 10% less than the book value. So 12,650 ka 10%, 1,250. 12,500 ka 10%, 1,250. So subtract 1,250, you will get 11,250. This is the agreed value of fixed asset taken over by Major Limited. Current assets. The total current assets as per the balance sheet is 19,500. In the problem it is given minor limited balance sheet asset side. Current asset 19,500. From that, one current asset is not taken over, that is cash. Cash is not taken over by the purchasing company. So subtract 1,000, remaining 18,500. And it is given all the assets are taken at 10% less than the book value. So 18,500 ka 10%, 1,850. Subtract 1,850, you will get 16,650. This is the agreed value of current asset. Now add up all the agreed value of all the assets taken over, 33,900. And it is given in the problem that trade liability will be taken over, creditor. The creditor as per the balance sheet is 13,000. Subtract. So 20,900 is the net worth of minor limited, and that will be the PC, purchase consideration. Now settlement of PC, how the PC will be settled? Equity share 1,000 shares of rupees 10 each, rupees 8 called up at a market price of rupees 50. Actually शेयर 10 रुपए का है, 8 रुपीस कॉल्ड अप है, लेकिन उसका मार्केट प्राइस इस वक्त उसका 15 रुपीस चल रहा है. At 15 rupees the Major Limited is issuing the shares. So 1,000 into 15, 15,000. And in the problem it is given balance in cash. That balancing figure we got 5,900. So total PC 20,900. 20,900 में से 15,000 worth of shares. So minus 15,000, remaining 5,900 is cash. Right? This is the complete explanation of the calculation of purchase consideration. Now we'll come to the journal entries in the books of minor limited. माइनर लिमिटेड के बुक्स में जर्नल एंट्रीज क्या होंगी? तो जर्नल एंट्री इन द बुक्स ऑफ माइनर लिमिटेड, ट्रांसफरर कंपनी, realization account data to goodwill, to fixed assets, to current assets. Now remember one point. First 4 entries will be compulsory there in every problem whenever entries are required in transferor company. The first entry, transfer all assets to realization at their book values, not agreed values, at book values, balance sheet values. Cash and bank balance will be transferred to realization only if it is taken over by the purchasing company. If cash balance is not taken over, we should not transfer to realization. In our problem, 1000 rupees cash was not taken over. So cash should not be taken. Whereas other assets, whether taken over or not, should be transferred to realization. दूसरे एसेट्स चाहे लो या ना लो, सब एसेट्स को ट्रांसफर कर देंगे रियलाइजेशन एक्सेप्ट कैश. तो बैलेंस शीट में जो वैल्यूज दिया माइनर लिमिटेड, गुडविल 4000, तो टू गुडविल 4000, और फिक्स्ड एसेट दिया 16500 इन द बैलेंस शीट, कंप्लीट 16500 आई हैव टेकन. करंट एसेट्स इट इज गिवन 19500, बट आई एम टेकिंग ओनली 18500 बिकॉज 1000 कैश नॉट टेकन ओवर, डोंट ट्रांसफर. Take the total of these three, 39,000. Being the assets transferred to realization, first entry. Second entry, liabilities to be transferred to realization. Only one liability is there, creditors. So trade creditors account data to realization. Being the liabilities taken over, transferred. Third entry will be PC due, purchase consideration receivable. So transferee company account data to realization. What is the name? Major limited. तो मेजर लिमिटेड अकाउंट डेटा टू रियलाइजेशन, मेजर लिमिटेड अकाउंट डेटा टू रियलाइजेशन 20,009, being the PC due. Fourth entry, PC received. Now we debit the forms of PC received. The forms are equity shares and cash. ये दो चीजें आ रहे हैं, दोनों को डेबिट करेंगे. तो equity shares in major limited account data are 15,000, cash account data are 5,900 to the giver. Who is the giver? Major limited is the giver to major limited, 20,900. Being the PC received. अब ये 4 entries जो है, these 4 entries are compulsory in every problem. अब remaining entry will come across. Cash account data to realization. One fixed asset was there 4,000. 4,000 रुपए का एक fixed asset था जो major limited नहीं लिया. That's why we have deducted here. Now that fixed asset is sold by minor limited. अब minor limited वो 4,000 रुपए का जो fixed asset बचा हुआ है नहीं लिए major limited, उसको बेच दिया. बेचने पर कैश आएगा, तो entry will be cash account data to realization. Cash account data to realization 4,000. Being the sale of that asset which is not taken over by the purchasing company. Sale of that asset. अब यहाँ पर फिक्स्ड एसेट नहीं ले रहे, बिकॉज ऑल द फिक्स्ड एसेट वी हैव ट्रांसफर टू रियलाइजेशन. ये 4,000 रुपए का जो फिक्स्ड एसेट था उसको भी ट्रांसफर कर दिए हम रियलाइजेशन में. दैट्स व्हाई द अमाउंट व्हिच वी कम्स इज फ्रॉम रियलाइजेशन. तो कैश अकाउंट डेटा टू रियलाइजेशन 4,000. Being the sale of asset which is not taken over by purchasing company, now sold and cash realized. Now realization account data to cash. Liquidation expenses. It is given liquidation expenses are borne by the company itself, minor limited itself. So entry realization account data to cash. Realization account data to cash 400. Being the liquidation expenses paid. Now transfer the equity share capital and accumulated profits to equity share holders. So equity share capital is given in the problem. Balance sheet में दे दिया है liability side 20,000 rupees equity share capital. Accumulated profits is given on the liability side. So accumulated profits account data 7,000. To equity shareholders account 27,000. So equity share capital account data, accumulated profits account data to equity shareholders account. Being the equity capital and accumulated profits transferred to equity shareholders. By passing this entry, all the accounts are closed. Assets account are closed, liabilities accounts are closed, accumulated profits, capital, every balance sheet, all items are closed. Now the next entry will be profit or loss on realization. Profit or loss on realization. Now we have to make a realization account and see debit side is more or credit side is more. यहाँ पर realization account is debited 39,000. Then realization account is debited 400. So 39,000 plus 400. फिर realization, that's it. Only two times. So 39,400 is on debit side. 39,000 and realization account is debited by 400. 39,400. Now credit side. Credit side. Credit side. Now credit side we'll see. Realization account. Here realization account is credited by 13,000. So I am taking 13,000 credit side. Then again realization account is credited by 20,900 plus 20,900 is equal to 33,900. Again realization account is credited by 4,000 plus 4,000. So total comes to 37,900. 37,900. 37,900 is the credit balance. Debit balance is 39,400. So debit side is more. So debit side is more का मतलब हो गया है loss. When debit side is more, it is a loss. Now find out 39,400 minus 37,900. You are getting 1,500. 1,500. Right? This 1,500 is the loss. The entry for loss on realization is equity shareholders account data to realization. Equity shareholders account data to realization 1,500 being the loss on realization. Being the loss on realization. Now, final settlement of account of equity shareholders. Equity shareholders account is closed. So entry will be equity shareholders account data to equity shares in major limited. PC आया था. PC में 15,000 rupees के shares आ गए थे. तो we are having shares in major limited. तो credit करेंगे to equity shares in major limited 15,000. Remaining cash. That cash will also be paid to equity shareholders. So how much is the cash? 1,000 rupees पहले से balance है. Minor limited की balance sheet में जो 1,000 का cash था, that cash was not taken over by major limited. So they are having the cash of 1,000. Apart from that, 5,900 rupees is the cash received in PC. Purchase consideration में cash receive करे 5,900 plus 5,900 plus 4,000 rupees में asset बेचे. One asset was sold. So entry was cash account data to realization. Here it is. Cash account data to realization. So 4,000 rupees cash received. That also be added. Apart from that, one payment was there. That payment was liquidation expenses. The liquidation expenses paid 400 rupees minus cash. Cash को credit करें. Cash को credit करें. Payment किया है तो 400 rupees minus. So 1,000 plus 5,900 plus 4,000 minus 400. You will get 10,500. So 10,500 is the cash remaining, and that 10,500 will be paid to equity shareholders. So कितना हो गया? 15,000 shares and 10,500 cash. 25,500. So 25,500 will be debited to shareholders account. Now equity shareholders account will get closed. All the accounts are closed. Company is wound up. Now you can confirm that equity shareholders account will tally or not. Equity shareholders account is credited. Credited by 27,000. Here equity shareholders account is credited by 27,000. Here equity shareholders are debited by 1,500. So 27,000 minus 1,500, 25,500. Here equity shareholders account is debited by 25,500. Account is closed. That's all. So this is the end of problem number 17.